If you feel like sugar is controlling you, this video is my exact step-by-step system to beat sugar cravings using the same daily habits I actually did and what I use with my clients. I will show you what to change first, what to do when cravings hit, and how to make this stick for the long term. Before the steps, you need to hear this first. You probably don't have a sugar addiction. I know that's not what you expect, but that misdiagnosis is exactly why everything you have tried so far has eventually failed. And as a licensed therapist and strength coach, this is what I see all the time. Women are calling this an addiction when it's actually a nervous system and physiology problem. What is really happening is that your body has been undernourished while your nervous system has been running the whole show, compensating, rerouting, grabbing for whatever stabilizes you the fastest. And nobody taught you how to see that, so the craving then looks like a character problem or character defect. It is not. It is a system that has been running without what it needs for a very long time. I grew up as a child of an alcoholic, and the research is clear. Children of alcoholics often have a stronger preference for sugar or alcohol or food. Same dopamine pathways, same wiring. Adult children of alcoholics or addicts will choose either alcohol or sugar or food. I made a conscious decision a long time ago to avoid alcohol, but instead I used sugar. For years, I thought I was just wired that way. I thought that I had to cut it out completely or I would lose control. But there wasn't just one reason for my cravings. There were actually 5. And what I didn't understand was this. Sugar was not the problem. It was actually the solution to my problem. And I am going to show you all 5 drivers because once you see them, the fix becomes permanent. Driver 1. Your nervous system is in survival mode. Growing up in a volatile home, it doesn't just feel unsafe, it actually wires your body to stay on alert. Hypervigilance is not a metaphor. It is physiological. My body learned to scan for threat constantly, and a nervous system that never lands in safety, it becomes a body that is always searching for regulation. Sugar was my regulation. It wasn't just comfort. I would plan moments with sugar, especially things like Skittles and Mike and Ike's, and I had my favorites and I had them the way I wanted them. And that fast hit of dopamine and glucose that brought me back to baseline, that is not a character flaw. That is what a survival nervous system does. And this isn't just for people with trauma, it is also chronic stress, poor sleep, overtraining, undereating, underfueling. It all elevates cortisol. And cortisol directly triggers cravings for fast sugar. That is not emotional eating. That is a hormone driving a response. Driver 2. You are most likely underfueled. I ate plenty of food when I was in my 20s and 30s. I'm 52 now. But when my sugar consumption was most out of control, I ate almost no protein and no fiber. My body was fed, but metabolically it was empty. So I hunted for fast sugar. Every few hours I was hunting for it. That's not an addiction. That's just pretty much your body signaling a deficit. Protein stabilizes blood sugar and supports dopamine and serotonin, while fiber slows absorption and then prevents sugar crashes. Most women over 35, they are pretty much under eating both protein and fiber, not because they are failing, but because they've been told to eat less for years. And a body eating less of the right things will always chase fast energy, and that is sugar. Driver 3. You are undermuscled. And this is the one that nobody talks about. Muscle actually helps glucose go somewhere. If you don't have enough muscle, blood sugar just floats around and it floats around in your bloodstream, causing things to be more unstable. More swings, more crashes, more cravings. When I built real muscle, everything changed. Not because I tried harder to avoid sugar with more discipline, but simply because the system in my body changed, so then cravings changed because having more muscle helped my blood sugar stabilize because it had some place to go. Driver 4, your hormones changed, especially if you are over 35. Estrogen declines. When that happens, insulin sensitivity goes down. Your blood sugar swings become more volatile and they hit harder. Progesterone drops, and that is your calming hormone. Your nervous system becomes more reactive during this time, and a reactive nervous system reaches for fast glucose. This is not failure. It is just a different body you are living in. Driver 5, the one nobody talks about. After years of lifting, I actually became super insulin sensitive because I had more muscle. And this sounds like a good thing, but it meant that if I didn't eat enough carbs, my blood sugar would crash, and it would crash hard. And then those cravings would come on really strong, but they weren't habits. They weren't blood sugar cravings that way. They were blood sugar emergencies, sometimes because my blood sugar would crash into the 40s, as was evident on some labs and CGM data. At the time, I was eating about 130 grams of carbs, but it turns out I needed like 225 grams of carbs to maintain my blood sugar levels. Same feeling as an addiction, but a very different cause. This is why blanket advice fails. It lacks nuance. The same craving can have completely different drivers. 5 drivers, all real, all fixable. Now the 3 steps for you in detail, and now they will make sense. Step 1, front load protein and fiber in your day. In total, aim for eating your goal body weight in protein, or if you are at goal body weight, eat that amount in protein. And as for fiber, try to get in 25 to 40 grams of fiber per day. But now here's the catch, okay? Because let's say you weigh 150 pounds and you want to weigh 140 pounds. So you're gonna shoot for approximately 140 grams of protein in your day. And I suggest to people that they eat half of that before 2 p.m. So, and I also suggest that they try to get in anywhere from 30 to 50 grams of protein in their breakfast. This is going to help tremendously to stabilize your blood sugar, and it is also going to help you to regulate your nervous system because of the amino acids in protein. How many times do I hear women come and tell me that they ate good in the morning, and I ask them what did they eat, and they say, I had an egg and I had a turkey sausage. I would eat my left arm off by 11 a.m. And then they wonder why they end up consuming half their pantry in the afternoon between 3 and 5 p.m., which is specifically when serotonin starts to drop. I call that the witching hour. And then they notice that they ate this volume of food, or they really struggle to avoid carbohydrates, or they struggle to avoid sugar substances, right? So then they're responding to that action at that moment that they consume this large amount of carbs or sugar. And then what they're doing is repeating the cycle in the morning because they're remembering that moment with food and saying, I have to be better. I have to eat less. And that is significantly what causes the overconsumption of sugar or the inability to avoid it, because sugar is your fastest energy source and your brain and your body is going to seek it. So if you need help with understanding how much protein to eat, grab my protein guide in the description below. That will give you tons of ideas on how much protein to eat, and it explains exactly how to do the math to figure out how much you need. The fiber, 25 to 40 grams of fiber, start tracking that. Start looking at how much fiber do you actually eat. When I looked at how much fiber I ate, I was shocked. I barely had 10 to 15 grams in my high sugar consumption days, because my breakfast, I remember, was a hot chocolate with a chocolate croissant from Dunkin' Donuts paired with a chocolate donut. Those were my breakfasts way back when I had the worst sugar cravings ever. So make sure that you get enough fiber in, 25 to 40 grams daily. Try to get half of that in before 2 p.m. and you will see a significant difference. Step 2, build a metabolic infrastructure in your body. Strength train 3 to 4 times per week. Progressively strength train and get stronger. Your muscle changes how your body handles every meal for the rest of your life. This is not about vanity. This is your much needed foundation. The more muscle you have, the more place for glucose to go. This helps keep blood sugar stable while significantly helps to reduce cravings due to blood sugar instability. Step 3, boundary the situation when you are consuming sugary foods. Don't just cut off the sugar, because the sugar isn't the problem. The context is. And what I mean by this is the way you consume sugar, the manner, the setting. No more mindless eating while scrolling, while watching TV, or stressed, or out of the bag. If you have sugary foods, sit down, put it on a plate. Yes, I have in the past put my own Skittles on a plate. Whatever you are eating, whether it be cake, cookies, candy, potato chips, bread with butter, put it on a plate and sit there in your kitchen or your dining room. No eating out of a bag. Shut everything off, all devices. Sit down at that table. Turn off all devices, turn off the phone, turn off the TV, no scrolling. Sit there with your food and eat. But this time, stay present. Stay in your body and stay aware and notice. What are you thinking? What are you feeling? For most people, this feels very uncomfortable. It's not as pleasant to sit with their binge food like this. And then something starts to shift and they realize it's not actually the food that they want. They are often seeking something else, but they don't know what it is, or maybe they do. And that's okay, because some people don't know what they need. Some people do know, but they don't know how to ask for it, or they don't know how to create it, or they don't want to admit what they want. And then some people realize what they want, they can't have it at this very moment. So you sit with the discomfort. This is dis-ease. And instead of escaping it, you stay with it. Because this is where the pattern starts to break. Because you are not addicted to sugar. You are addicted to the state you are in when you are eating it. Change the state and the pattern starts to break. This was me. I wasn't just eating sugar. I was looking for a way out. And I was looking for a way out of the misery I was living in. I just wanted out. And sugar gave me that escape, a temporary reprieve. It wasn't conscious at the moment, okay, but it took me away. And that's the part no one talks about. But then everything changed when I finally acknowledged what it is that I actually wanted and what I actually needed, what I was really trying to escape. Because then sugar stopped being the problem. Sugar wasn't the problem. Sugar was actually my messenger. It was a signal. It was a solution to my problem, and it was pointing me towards the work that I was avoiding, which was the real work. And that is where things started to change. True addiction has withdrawal, tolerance, compulsion. Most people don't have that. Some do, but most people don't. Instead, people have a pattern, and patterns are breakable. I spent years underfueled, undermuscled, highly dysregulated, using sugar as my fastest solution. Now, I choose it when I want it, and it's not from need. It's from strength, and that's not willpower, that's building capacity and building a system that helps to fuel the body, and then everything starts to change. You don't want to avoid sugar completely. That's not really the goal. The goal is to not have you or have sugar be that powerful over you. You don't want to be powerless to sugar. There are ways to navigate through the nuances of your unique situation. Everybody's is a little bit different. There are no two snowflakes exactly the same, okay? Everybody's slightly different. And when you understand your own nuances to this situation and you can look at it objectively, you can find a different way out, because it doesn't have to be all or nothing. All or nothing isn't the only solution. So I hope this helps for you. Please ask any questions in the comments and I will absolutely reply. And I believe in you, okay? You can do this. This doesn't have to be a monkey on your back, okay? So start with step 1, grab the protein guide, and share this with somebody if you know somebody that could use this information.